Hello, everyone, and welcome. Well, this is take two here. You just never know with technology when you might lose the thread. Yes, or in this case, when you might lose the stream. So I wanted to go live here while I've still got some time, and I left you right in the middle of a description of Workbook Lesson 63 in A Course in Miracles, in the midst of a very central and very important point in the course. So I did want to just continue and go live right here from the page. So thank you all for tuning in, and well, thank you for tuning in to take two. I guess we can leave the first version up. There's two of me today. So here I am, and hello, Sophia. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I'm going live from my phone. So tech issues happen. Here we are. All right, so lesson 63, and I'll be a little bit more brief on this one here in the interest of time, talks about forgiveness, and this is such an important concept in A Course in Miracles, and it's important in spirituality in general. So what is meant by forgiveness in A Course in Miracles is fundamentally different than what people conventionally mean in the world, and I'll explain what that is. And again, this is it's part of a continuation of lessons right here. We've been looking at our being the light of the world. That's idea lesson 61, and our function in this world as the light of the world is forgiveness. That was yesterday's lesson. Today, lesson 63 in the workbook for students, which gives us an idea to work with and practice throughout the day. It says, "The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness." And we have the power and the capability to bring peace through every mind, to every mind, and through every mind too, because they're one, right? But we have the ability and the power and the capability to bring peace. So that's what we're here for. Okay, so what does forgiveness look like? Well, in the world, forgiveness takes a slightly different form, doesn't it? I mean, we can think of being able to forgive certain people, certain things, but often in the world, forgiveness is limited because we find that there are some things that hurt us to the core, and that might be someone that's legitimately abused you, right? It could be someone that, or some group of people. It might be someone across the world, it might be a rival political party. Yeah, it could be any number of things. We find that there are people that we can forgive and those whom we can't. It's, in fact, incomplete. It's an incomplete form of forgiveness. And A Course in Miracles talks about real or true forgiveness, and it has a very different context. It's the way we understand and interpret it that gives it this profound meaning. So in the world, we cherish a belief in sin, don't we? Whether this is something that you were brought up with or whether it wasn't. I was brought up in a fundamentalist Christian church, taught to believe and had it pretty much instilled in me that all human beings, myself included, are sinners, and sin is worthy of punishment. Right? It's worthy of death and condemnation. And that is the attitude that prevails in the world, no matter where you are in the world. If someone wrongs you, it's real tempting to want to lash out at them, isn't it? It's tempting to want to punish them. And when we don't, and we forgive them instead, in the world, cherishing this belief in sin, in wrong and transgression and punishment, forgiveness is incomplete. Why? Because you might forgive somebody and then you feel superior. Right? People tend to feel superior to those whom they forgive because they didn't sin. They're free of sin and someone else did. So someone that's forgiven could then feel guilty, could feel horrible. Quite naturally, a guilty person, guilty party. This can happen. This can and does happen in the world all of the time. It's It's definitely not complete, because if someone is forgiven and they still feel awful, and they're made to feel awful by the person that supposedly forgave them, then it's real easy to see, isn't it, that that is not a complete loving gesture on their part. It's not a completely loving action. Therefore, it's not a loving action. So, A Course in Miracles sees it differently, and this is such a critically important component of the Course. And as Lesson 63 says, the light of the world, in other words, us, bring peace to every mind through our forgiveness. Yeah. So, A Course in Miracles sees all things as, as either an expression of love or a call for love. I've said on this live stream many times, and I'll continue to say it because it's foundational. You're either choosing love or you're choosing fear. The one hand love, the other hand fear. One hand God, the other hand the ego. Joy, suffering. We have a choice every moment of every day. And when people act out in the world, when people speak to one another, when they type on social media, when they appear in public, our carriage, our demeanor, everything is always communicating. We're always communicating with one another. And are we communicating love or are we communicating fear? All right, so in terms of forgiveness, the Course sees it like this. Either you're expressing love or you're issuing a call for love. You're either expressing love or you're calling out for it. One or the other. Yeah, that is, that's the way it is, if we think about it. If we really allow ourselves to sit with this idea and sit with this material and really be with it, that's the way that it works. Something's either an expression of love or a call for love. Think of a small child misbehaving. It's a call for attention. Really, it's a call for love. It's a call for love. So, because people are either expressing love or they're calling out for it, what is the appropriate response to a call for love? It's to issue a loving response, isn't it? If someone is calling out for love, we give it to them. That's true forgiveness. It overlooks the concept of sin. It overlooks the concept of error and recognizes in other people, in other groups of people, a call for love. And we respond with a call for love, with extending love. So either we're extending love or we're calling out for it. If someone calls out for it, we extend it. This is the way forgiveness is looked at and talked about and practiced in A Course in Miracles. It's a fundamentally different, more profound understanding of the idea. And this is something that we'll come back to here on the live. And typically, thank you all for tuning in. Hello, Donna. Yeah. Typically what happens is I go live from a streaming service, which was started off today. You can catch the first, 10, 15 minutes of the live stream for today. And I decided to go live again here on the page during the time that I've got because of a tech issue. I don't know why that was dropped, but yeah, the show must go on. I wanted to continue with this dialogue. We'll go back through this here on the live stream because as we work our way through the workbook, it's very, very important that we have an understanding of what forgiveness is according to A Course in Miracles. Why? So we can practice it in the way it's intended, which is more pervasive, it is more profound, it's stronger, more deeply impactful, more loving, and it's truly loving, actually, because we either have love or fear, and it has completely different results. So I'll say more about that in the days to come because the next few lessons as we work our way through these ideas in the workbook have to do with forgiveness. And it's a theme in A Course in Miracles. You may be familiar with A Course and you may be not, but if you're not, this is a theme that keeps coming up throughout. Why? Because we need to continue to practice it. It is our function as the light of the world, and as the light of the world, which is simply the truth about ourselves, we bring peace to every mind through our forgiveness. And yes, Sophia, thank you for your comments. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Yes, and again, you can catch the first few minutes of the live stream. There are probably some comments on there, and I'll get to those later on today. But this is the completion of it. So, barring a tech issue, we'll be back here again tomorrow. But isn't it wonderful, in fact, that we have different options? So if plan A, technologically speaking, doesn't work, then we have plan B. And voila, plan B right here. So it's a pleasure for me to be here with you, and I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you again here tomorrow. This is a daily live stream, so I invite you to check the show guide on Enlightened World Network's Facebook page, this very page that I'm going live from right now. That's the pinned first page on the thread every day. So you can find out all of the show times here for the network, and I will see you back here again tomorrow. Everyone have a great weekend.